So, hey guys, this is the inaugural episode of Out of the Box, which is a music based podcast focused on artists who are kind of obscure, maybe on the come up, who are just generally not very well known. And this is our attempt to kind of document these guys and talk about them and just kind of have a discussion about what we like, maybe what we don't like, and just try to help spread the word about these guys that, have interesting music. So, it's three people here. My name's Sebastian, and then I also have Jack and Andrew here with me.
How's it going?
And yeah, we're just going to kind of talk about three different artists that each of us picked each week. And so we kind of have tiers where we just kind of go by their Spotify listeners, where it's like a between 250K to 50K, 50K to 10K, and then a below 10K artist. And one of us is going to pick from those categories and we'll just kind of talk about them and kind of talk about our opinions. So anyways, let's get right into it. Actually, okay, so can we do the intro later? Because I don't think I'll probably have only like an hour. So should we just record the main body of it, and
Yeah,
then
let's do that. I can even just come up with a intro later, so that's fine.
all right, okay, cool. So,
So
anyways, Jack, since we're going to be talking about Lease Agreement first, why don't you start us off with Lease Agreement and kind of tell us how you found out about him and kind of what you like about him, I guess.
yeah, so as far as how I found Lease Agreement, to be honest, like mystery, I have no idea. I just remember that I really liked their song. I watched people play video games on the internet. I thought it was really catchy. And then I like the letter opener too. I feel like I watch people play video games on the internet more. But I think both are good. They're kind of new. They don't really have many songs, obviously, but I'd love to hear what you thought about them because it's so few songs. It's kind of like interesting. Like you either connect or you don't really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you, it's definitely not my favorite thing of all time, but it's definitely not terrible either. I totally agree that I think that while I watch people play video games online, it's probably their better song of the two. The thing is like, especially with like garage rock and alternative rock and stuff like this, the problem is always going to be there's tons of other people doing songs and doing music within the same genre, right? So it's going to like set you apart from everybody else, and make you unique. And so I guess like in my opinion, there's nothing really like super duper special about these guys. They're not terrible, but I mean, it's kind of all right, I guess. I mean, I think there's some good qualities about it. Like I really like the guitar tone on both the songs, and I think that both the songs have very strong like Midwest emo vibes, which I think is something that I kind of personally really enjoy. But yeah, there's kind of I mean I don't want to say it's lackluster, but it's just kind of like there's nothing super spectacular about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I actually like Midwestern emo a lot, so I think that's kind of why I'm
Yeah.
drawn to them. That's definitely given that vibe, even with their like picture on Spotify of them in front of a parking spot or whatever that is. But
Yeah, it's just kind of in the middle of the boonies or somewhere like that. Yeah, I totally get that.
but it looks pretty good. He's got on that like what is that? Cool Ganopa? I don't know what that says, but he's got on like a cool shirt or whatever. Yeah, Andy.
Um, I kind of disagree with Sebastian there. I think they are pretty special, actually. And the main reason I think they're special is, their music's pretty alright. I enjoyed both of their two songs. They're obviously lacking a bit in depth. I really just like the name of the first song because as a child, that's exactly what I did. So I was like, oh, based off memories of watching people play video games but never actually playing, it was like, I like these guys. We really connect body, soul, spirit, and mind. And I also think their picture on Spotify is pretty hype. All of them just looking up, under the shade of a tree, the stars. Like, dang, that's pretty sexy. So,
I don't think that picture is on Spotify.
oh, what? Oh, it is for me.
What the heck are you talking about, man? Where? On lease agreement?
Yeah, lease agreement.
What? Hold on, I'm gonna look this
The
up real quick.
profile picture on Spotify on my phone right now.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
maybe
their
I'm.
profile picture. Yeah, but not like their not like on their like home page, but yeah, their little circular profile icon. Yeah, they're kind of looking up in the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you actually bring up a pretty good point about like this goes back to the Midwest emo thing about like their naming conventions and stuff and just how they present themselves. Like a lot of Midwest emo bands and stuff use a lot of terminology and lingo and just kind of like their appearance is very like down to earth and very homey, especially with like a band like Mom Jeans is probably the one that, Jack, you're probably familiar with too. It's just something that, just their appearance and, the topic of their songs and stuff and the titles and the even the name of the band are just very, it's just like a very down to earth, very relatable kind of feel that it gives off.
Yeah, they got this guy in the green polo. He's looking like an absolute stud in the background. I think the name I watch people play video games on the internet and and then I can't even read the rest of it. I think that gives away that this is
You're my
like a
closest friend.
Midwestern emo band. Yeah, my closest
Kind
friend.
of.
It's like they always put these super long names. Like I remember Fall Out Boy in their like oldest albums would put like books for the names of their album or the names of their songs.
Mm.
Like I don't know if you remember that, but that's kind of reminiscent. Although they're really new, that's like a 2023 song, I think. So honestly,
What is
we
it?
might, yeah, no, you might see like more from them like really soon.
Hello there. Epic.
Yeah, no, I definitely get like the long titles thing. Like, there's this one band that I really like, which might be a potential topic for another episode. But yeah, they just have like kind of like long, like just kind of like asinine titles that don't really relate to the song at all. Like one of their titles is Clinton was on a bill, but he isn't a bill. Or sorry, Clinton wasn't on a bill, but he is a bill. And then another one is Yellow Car, I Called It, which are just two titles that are just kind of like a little bit excessive in length and don't really matter much to the song, but it's just kind of staple of Midwest emo and just kind of like I said, their conventions and just kind of like how they are, you know?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's something they definitely do. And I think we don't really need to cover them too long because they just don't have that much out. But I loved them. I thought they were really good, which is why I proposed them. Hopefully they make more because I definitely listen. It sounds like Sebastian
Yeah,
won't be listening, but it
I give him a shot again.
sounds like Andy will listen, and it sounds like
Oh yeah.
Sebastian's willing to try. So
It's also interesting that 50% of these guys, 2 out of the 4, are rocking these yeah, I guess they're goatees.
I think they're neck beards. Oh, I guess no, 50% have goatees. One guy has like a neck beard thing.
And
Like suits him kinda, and then the one guy is I don't know if he has
one
like a half neck beard or if he has nothing. That might be just a shadow. I don't know. Probably
he's
not
a
worth
Oh yeah, I
shadow.
analyzing.
think he's just a shadow.
Dude, that guy with just a shadow, with nothing, he looks like a snack. He looks pretty sexy.
Dude. I was planning on like editing him at Twitter or something, and now I'm realizing that it might be a bad idea to do that.
Yeah,
Edit
probably. I
him?
mean, because we haven't really been talking mostly about their music and instead kind of going on about their appearance.
Well, I mean,
You know,
okay.
dude,
I
appearance
will
is
say
important.
a pictures a band has, and especially album covers. Like an album cover makes a lot for me. So
Oh, for sure, for sure. Honestly, an album cover is the reason why I listen to or the reason why I was introduced to some of the stuff that I do listen to because I just thought the cover was appealing and it turned out that I liked it. So I totally get that.
yeah, and it's like I think they have a good appearance. So I don't know. That's probably what got me in here in the first place too. I really don't remember what got me to this band, but
I know
Yeah, I
it
mean, they're
got me.
pretty out there. 85 monthly listeners. That's pretty obscure in the grand scheme of things, right? So it's probably pretty hard to find these dudes.
yeah, well, hopefully it'll become less as they make music. I mean, they have 2 songs and they both have almost 3,000 listens. That's pretty good.
Mm.
They're SoundCloud rappers with like 20 albums that have less listens than that. So,
Yeah.
okay, should we just move on to Jellyfish because
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Why not?
I think we
yes.
can we can talk about them longer, and especially because
Yeah,
they
I think
have
they have
more going
a
on.
little bit more material.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
by a little bit more, like leagues more. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I guess I'll just get into it. So these guys, Jellyfish, I just happened to stumble across them searching on Discogs for a different band entirely, and they just happened to pop up. And I don't know, the name kind of struck me out, and their album covers are a little bit out there, so I figured I'd give them a chance. And so the first song that I listened to by him was New Mistake, which is probably also one that you guys listened to. And I was just like totally, like at first I was like, it's one of those songs where when you first listen to it, you hate it, but subconsciously you're drawn to it in a certain sense because you listen to it, you hate it, but then you feel this kind of desire to listen to it again. And then upon that second or third listen, you actually come to realize that you kind of liked it all along, but you just didn't want to admit it first. And so, yeah, New Mistake was definitely one of those songs where it was like the first listen, I was just kind of like, whatever, not really a big deal. But upon listening to it again and again, I was really just kind of suckered in. But yeah, these guys, really cool, nifty little, early 90s bands. Kind of like not super unique, especially, considering like a more contemporary kind of the variety that we have now. But probably for the time, they're definitely out there, especially considering that, their first two or their only two albums were during the grunge heyday. So they're kind of going against the grain in terms of their sound. And, there weren't a lot of art rock, art pop, bands ruling the waves at that point in time. So definitely unique for the time and just very interesting. And yeah, I just totally like them. I'm very into how ornate their soundscapes are, especially on their second album, Spilled Milk. I'm just very into all the different types of instrumentation and the harmonies and just how well things mesh together. For me, it's just, something that I really enjoy. They're very Queen-like in a sense, which is very interesting because I don't really like Queen that much. I'm not too interested in them, but they're kind of deriving a lot of their sound from Queen, but there's just something different about it that I really appreciate. I don't know about you guys. It seems like you guys maybe didn't have such awesome things to say, so I'm kind of interested to see what you guys have to say about them.
Yeah, so my first impression of these guys was they just kind of look like weird video gamers, you know? Just the long
Oh,
hair, they're looking at the camera kind of strangely.
what?
The one guy looks like Penguin Z, and you're like, "Whoa, all right, is that his doppelganger?"
Oh,
I
shoot,
was
he actually
actually,
does.
dude, he does. Looks like Penguin Z's like
Looks like
younger.
Moist Critical.
I don't know, but anyway, I was actually really pleasantly surprised when I started listening through their albums. Because I don't really like rock that much. There's some rock songs I enjoy, but this one I can consider one of them that I actually do enjoy. Because as a first impression, I was like, okay, their voice is a bit annoying, but as the song went on, I kind of got used to it and I could vibe out to it, you know? And it
Mm.
really gave me a dream of just driving through a warm summer evening with both my windows down and one of their songs would be playing. And that just gave me a really nice vibe. So I would recommend them, especially for summertime.
Yeah,
So
no, definitely think that, even though they are technically like a rock band, they can kind of go back and forth between, softer and more harsher songs. They can definitely turn up the aggression a little bit, but there's also a lot of songs that they have where it's a lot more dialed back, right? And so I feel like that kind of makes it a little bit more accessible and kind of appeals to like a broader range of palettes for people.
It's actually interesting you say that. So earlier I told him, and I'll say it again. I hope you don't hate my opinion on this. And I guess first of all, the thing is, Jellyfish, the name is just like a little bit off-putting to me at first, right? It isn't now, but it was. And the album names Spilt Milk and Belly Button are also like, especially Belly Button. I was like, that's kind of gross. But
yeah,
then like listening through, the thing that I was like, hopefully you won't hate is that I found out I actually like Belly Button like a lot more than Spilt Milk in terms of its sound.
Dude, should have never have said that, man.
Spilt Milk is really loud compared to Belly Button,
Mhm.
and it has like this sound that I almost called like it doesn't sound Eastern European, but it incorporates sounds that I would call almost Eastern European to me.
Really,
Um,
like, what do you mean by that? Like, I guess give me an example, because I didn't really pick up on that.
well, so like just listening through it, specifically with like having listened to a decent amount of Romanian music, they have this thing called
Hmm.
Manele, and it
Yeah.
it kind of had like undertones of that, and I could send you some like because I just listened through the album. I didn't really like keep track of the songs, and I didn't
Mhm.
even hate it. I just thought Belly Button was like really good, like so I kept track of some songs. So the man I used to be, I loved that song. Like I was kind of clicking through some of the songs, and then that song I was like, I can't click through this one. Like I have to listen to the whole song. She still loves him. I thought there was an amazing solo in that. Calling Sarah was amazing, and I Want to Stay Home was so good. Like I loved. I will actually listen to Belly Button on my own, in the car and stuff.
What do you think about The King is Half Undressed?
I
Um,
like that one.
I liked it
Yeah.
too. It wasn't my total favorite off the album, but it was real. I mean, this whole album was really good.
Dude, I think that was the best song because I think the problem that I have with this album compared to Spilled Milk is that this one's like a little bit slower in my opinion. There's like that is why they kind of like tone it up a little bit and they kind of, get a little bit more aggressive and get a little bit more punchy. But I just feel like this album is like, it's kind of like an entirely different beast because it's just a lot slower paced. And I feel like it's a little bit compared to Spilled Milk, it's a little bit like stripped down, I guess you could say. And I feel like The King is Half Undressed is the only one that sticks out as kind of like, sort of comparable to what would be to come with Spilled Milk. And I think it's like leagues ahead of all the other songs for the most part. Although, I mean, like I said, That Is Why it's pretty good. Some of the other ones are all right, but I just felt like it was more of like a chore to get through this one.
Interesting. Dude, I loved it. And I actually think I do
Really?
like in this kind of rock, like maybe slower, so that makes sense. Spilt
Hmm.
Milk, I did highlight. The last three songs of the album were by far my favorite. So He's My Best Friend, Too Much, Too Little, Too Late, and Brighter Day were like my
Hmm.
three favorites off Spilt Milk, and I thought they were all three really good. Russian Hill is good. I like that song. I it had some moments that were like interesting to me, but very good. Honestly, overall, like I will be listening to Jellyfish on my own going forward. Like they're definitely gonna become a permanent fixture in what I listen to.
Yeah,
That's pretty
I
cool.
agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I mean, I figured especially for Andrew because Andrew's I don't want to say rock phobic, but he's definitely not a big rock fan. So I
yeah.
figured this would be like a good one to start with because they're definitely, not in your face aggressive. Also, this is a question for you, Jack, because this is something that I picked up on like in my notes and stuff. But I thought the singer at times kind of sounded like Chris Cornell. I don't know if you kind of felt the same way, but I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Um, I wasn't really listening with like too many comparisons, and I don't know Chris Cornell's voice like well enough. I'd even say
I got you.
like I've listened to Soundgarden. I don't know his voice well enough. I don't think.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, Andrew, if you had to pick like a definitive song for these guys, like if you were to say like, go out and listen to this one, what would it be?
I'd say without a doubt. I mean, it's their most popular song, "New Mistake."
Dude, that one's so good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the only song that I actually add to one of my playlists.
I got you.
Because yeah, I just kind of like it, you know.
Yeah, dude, it's so like the soundscape is so lush. There's so many, little kind of flashes of instrumentation here and there. Whether it's like the trumpets or just kind of like, I think it's like maracas or something that they have in there every once in a while. It just makes it very ornate sounding. And yeah, just kind of like the harmonies in the background and just kind of, the vocal melodies and everything. That's actually something that I like about a lot of their songs is the vocal melodies, especially during the chorus. But yeah, especially for New Mistake, I just think it's kind of. I mean, it's not surprising it's their most popular. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
And even the first like 5 seconds just really draws your attention with the drum banging in, and you're like, oh, you know, dope. Nice drum,
Mm-hmm.
nice guitar, nice nice vocals, like you said. So
I like the kind
yeah,
of pauses that are in that song. Like not total pauses, but I like how the audio kind of like shuts off for a second and then comes all the way back.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. Like, I love it when artists do that. So that's Jellyfish. Like I love Jellyfish. I'm gonna be listening to them like going forward for sure. Um,
sweet.
do we want to finish up with
All right,
Reilly?
yeah. Andrew, take it away. How'd you figure out about those guys?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I know to our Whopper right now, 0 listeners. Who knows? Maybe we'll have more sometime. Um, Reilly is a band that I have listened to ever since I was like 8 years old. And the reason is because my parents actually listened to them. And I know what you guys are gonna think, oh, their parents, this guy's parents born 1970 are, kind of like, sons and daughters of boomers, so this guy possibly can't be really cool. However, until now, as a 21-year-old, I can say that I still listen to Reilly and really enjoy him because he's just a rock Christian artist where his lyrics are really meaningful to me, and just the guitar, the energy he brings with that, and also the occasional violin solos that they have also adds a really nice touch to the band as a whole. And so I just really like the energy all around of the band, and just I don't know, just good feelings all around for them. And my favorite song is probably Redeemed because I just think this song is really beautiful with integration of the violin, the integration of chorus, the guitar, drums, everything. And they marry that with a beautiful message of redemption, that we have through Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's my favorite one. I'm curious to hear what you guys thought of them. So I won't be offended if you guys critique them, by the way. But They were actually the very first concert I went to as a kid, before I went to any other concerts for bands. So I would say it was a good experience to have a first concert with them. So yeah,
I noticed that they were from Philly, looking them up. So I understand why you're listening to them. Some
yeah.
Pennsylvania boys just rooting for one another. Um,
They had their concert at Lancaster Bible College,
oh, Lancaster Bible College, let's go.
uh, like an
I
hour and a half outside of Philly.
I noticed they were really upbeat, like just immediately listening to them. Um,
Yeah.
and I really liked Sunlight. Um,
Yeah, actually, Sunlight was one that I liked a lot. Even though, like, I guess because I listened to their album Around the World probably the most of my time, and so I have some comments about Around the World. But I think Sunlight was good. I think one of the things that really stuck out to me, especially with a lot of their songs, is that even though they're late 2000s, early 2010s bands, some of their songs can have like a good low end to them. They're kind of bassy, which is just something that was interesting because it's kind of like a characteristic that a lot of like 90s bands have. And so that was kind of, something interesting to see. Just kind of like a nice little, characteristic about some of their songs that I really enjoyed.
what did you think about the album, Sebastian? Like, I want to know, did you like Around the World or Let June Decide better?
Well, so I think I liked Around the World because, like Andrew mentioned previously, like the violins, which is kind of a nice touch. Because like, I don't know if you guys are super familiar with Dave Matthews Bands, but they have probably one of my favorite albums of all time. And I feel like Reilly, I guess, would be very good to call him Dave Matthews Band light in a sense because Dave Matthews Band has a lot more band members, so they can incorporate a lot more different instruments and stuff like that, and have a lot, more of a very kind of like complicated soundscape going on, and have a lot more instruments going on. And so Reilly, of course, drums, guitar, bass, and then of course violin is kind of stripped down compared to Dave Matthews. But I feel like just with the addition of the violin in there, like I said, it gave me very big Dave Matthews vibes, and I kind of like that. They're definitely not my favorite, and I don't know if I'd consider like listening to them all the time. But yeah, just little things like that, like the violin, the bass, were things that I kind of picked up on that I kind of appreciate about it. If you kind of get what I'm saying.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I liked Let June Decide better. And I don't know
Mhm.
why. Just listening through it, I found myself like kind of going more for that. I liked Limited Time. I really liked where is it? Light Up the Darkness. That was like the one song that was off Around the World that I found myself like really listening to over and over was Light Up the Darkness. Um, but like Sunlight is from Let June Decide. Really liked that. And then a lot of it sounded like Sunlight. So I just kind of went more that way. And then June, the actual song June was really beautiful. It's like a little piano piece. Um, and it's short. It's like 47 seconds. So it's definitely just like a little like intermission for the album, but it was really good. Um,
No, I totally agree with you. I think June's pretty good, and kind of like their piano in general because it reminds me a lot of like Counting Crows, and especially their song "Colorblind." And just kind of how the piano sounds in this song. And it makes me listen to like June and other songs that they have where the piano's in it. Makes me kind of reminisce upon that one, in a very good way, of course.
yeah, Andy, maybe you could explain. So they have Let June Decide, they have Around the World. These are two like really good albums. Um, Change Me God was decent, and then like A Fall City Christmas was just like your Christmas album that was like way later. Um,
Yeah.
what's up with their appears on? I was talking to Sebastian about this, and then I like did some digging because he was suggesting, like maybe even the benefit of the doubt, right? Like Riley, maybe it was like a mix up, but their appears on has them on like three different rap EPs, and I can't find someone that it should have been attributed to that it wasn't. Um, they're on a Star Wars album by Dathomir.
Really?
Yeah, look at their peers on like on their page. So they're on Midichlorian, and then they're on the I Got Tapes and Hey.
I see that.
Honestly, the guy who made the I Got Tapes Rebel is actually not that bad. But that's not the point right now. I was just wondering, like, if you could give like explanation of like, because you said that they still play, right? Like these people still play music sometimes.
Yeah, I think what they're doing now is just kind of so the most recent things is from 2021. I think this is just kind of them getting back together and playing for fun as a band, just as a hobby because they're pretty serious about grinding to try to be pretty successful with it in the early 2000s, but it didn't really take off as much as they wanted. So I think in the 20 teens, they just kind of went low key again and just kind of, became worship leaders at their church pretty much. I think what we
Yeah.
see here with 2020, 2021, even appearing in, I don't know, the I Got Tapes, uh, I think that's them just slowly getting back into it for their own enjoyment. But I honestly haven't really looked into that.
Sure, yeah, no, I mean that's not bad either. Their Christmas album was not like terrible either. It was like it was good. It was just like a Christmas album. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so on
ev-
the topic of like their like weird appears on thing, so I don't know if you guys also noticed, but like if you go to their page where it says discography and popular releases, the No Strings single, so it's pretty apparent that it's two different Rileys going on because the music is totally different. But I actually really dig it. It's got like a good kind of beat to it. Like if Reilly started doing this kind of stuff, I'd be like, all right, man, I'll start listening to him because it's got a good groove to it. I like the overdubs with the vocals and stuff, and it's like, dang, what happened, man?
Yeah, okay, you're right, definitely right because looking at their like the albums, they're self-produced. I guess just 2007 Riley, but No Strings is produced by like Groove Odyssey Records. Let me look at
Yeah, so
the
it's definitely two different guys.
Let me look at that other. There's two Rileys. There's the one with the really like uppercase letters. Let me look at their stuff. No, that's not them either. I can't find who it was supposed to be. Like I can't find who that was supposed to be attributed to. But I mean, maybe it's this guy. I have no idea. But yeah, no. Overall, really liked them. They were really good. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I mean, I
listened to.
guess in my opinion, or you can go.
I was just gonna say like I listened to Sunlight and I listened to, um, Light of the Darkness, and I listened to some other of the songs on Let June Decide. Like there's probably four songs of theirs that I'll add and like regularly listen to.
hmm
Jake.
You want to go,
Yeah,
Sebastian?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just think like I think a common criticism people have with Christian artists is that they're kind of gutless in a sense, and I feel like in my opinion, there's something about Riley that also kind of falls into that category. And the problem is that, like I mentioned earlier, they have so many good elements, whether it's the violin or kind of their bassiness in some songs, or how their piano sounds. Like I really appreciate all those qualities, but at the same time, there's just something about them where it's like I don't know. I don't want to say soulless, but they're just I don't know. I guess for me, in my opinion, they're kind of missing that oomph in some of their songs because I get that they're trying to go for like a Christian rock angle, but I'm not really being rocked on a lot of their songs. If you kind of get what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Andy's hurt.
Yeah, you
I
only
mean, I'm just
listen
going to
to
preface this
the
right now. I'm just going to say it right now, but I'm a very picky music listener. People ask me all the time, well, you know, what songs do you like? What genres do you like? Or what about songs do you like? And there's definitely certain genres that I like more than others. But really, when it comes to music, if I like it, I like it. That's the only way I can describe it because sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
honestly,
I can
I
take that.
I can't even really tell you what it is that like makes me appreciate the sound. Sometimes you're like, oh, well, I think Belly Button is definitively not as good as Spilt Milk. It's like I don't know exactly what it is that makes me like, what?
hmm
It just kind of do. So I don't know.
You just know it when you like it. Honestly, that's the only way to
Yeah,
describe it.
yeah, exactly. And Andy, Riley, so this is so interesting. They have So I don't know if you knew this, but you can press the about and see like what the top 5 cities people are listening from are.
Really?
Yeah, so Philly is number 1, Minneapolis is number 2, Prague, Czech Republic is number
Public.
3.
Wait, what?
The Czech Republic is in their top 3.
Arlington,
Yeah, Arlington, Texas. I
Chicago. Makes
wonder.
Wait,
sense.
where do you click that?
I see Jellyfish has Great Britain like, at the top, but the rest of it's the
Yeah,
U.S. It's just
so
London.
because I was snooping around on their Wikipedia page a lot because that's when I like a band, I like to obviously read about them.
Yeah,
And yeah, so they had minor success within the UK. Of course, they didn't really have great success here. A couple
Fish.
splashes on the charts, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, so they also had comparable success, in London too, Great Britain,
oh dang,
UK, same thing.
they should have moved there. I mean that honestly, they kind of sound like what they were doing at the time. Like,
Honestly, yeah, I kind of feel like the scene, yeah, within London probably would have been more, favorable for these guys, and they probably, if they had focused their efforts more on that market, they could have garnered a little bit more success.
yeah, probably honestly. I mean, that's interesting. I'm gonna guess that Lease Agreement is from San Antonio since 39 people are listening from San Antonio, and the next is Houston with 4. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna take a wild stab and say they're probably from San Antonio. Um, so that's probably a parking spot in San Antonio. But
Sick.
these were all three. I mean, I think these were all three really good. I think this was a good starting cast.
Agree.
I'm definitely gonna pick someone with a little bit more of a discography next round around. I thought Lease Agreement was really good, so I wanted to include them.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't terrible. Like I definitely, like I said, there's, you know,
It
I
definitely wasn't
I tried
terrible.
to, well, I tried to like, pick out things about each artist that I like really liked. There's like little bits and pieces here that I wanted to focus on that I actually appreciated. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. For me to like regularly listen to some dude, I have to like really like it, right? So hopefully, as we keep on going on, there will be something that'll pop up, that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But for right now, it was definitely a good batch to start with. But I definitely think that we could go up from here.
Time for the post-analysis hangout.
If you haven't listened to Alexander Borodin, then
And you
you
can't even
obviously don't
recommend him. He has a million listeners.
listen to Russian music.
Right,
Andy,
dude. Yeah, Andrew.
Andy, I don't think you understand what we're doing here.
Oh, I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
you're capping. That's what you are.
Dude, because Borodin is one of the top most 5 famous Russian composers.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
good for
dude.
him.
After just Tchaikovsky.
Oh, of course. Yeah, good for him.
His
That's awesome.
his
Yeah.
description starts with, though far from prolific as a composer, by day he was a
Poor guy.
scientist noted for his research on aldehydes. Dude, that's why Andy likes him. He's a scientist that found
Oh,
aldehydes.
okay.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
totally
dude,
it.
Okay.
dude. Borodin was a chemist. He's a beast.
Dude, that's why. That's 100% why. He doesn't even like his music. Andy, name one song. You can't look him up. And name one song. Name one song.
Dude, I do listen to him. His
And
string
he's
One
already got
song.
the
quartets are
page up.
beautiful. String
One song.
quartets.
Dude, oh, string quartets.
Every
Oh,
celloist in the universe has a string quartet song.
String quartet number 1, string quartet number 2.
bro, dude, Andy
All
lied.
right, here I'm
Andy
gonna name my
lied.
favorite.
Andy
I'm gonna name
lied
my
for
favorite
clout.
Bach songs. Symphony number one, Symphony number two.
Dude, Andy lied for clout.
I didn't
Dude.
lie. I actually listened to him.
All
Dude,
right,
oh my
so
gosh. Right here, aside from teaching chemistry, bro, he was a doctor. He taught medical courses. Dude, Andy, I know why you like him. I know you like him. It's over.
Alexander Borodin was a beast.
Every time we should have like we talk about the artist and then we have like 10 minutes of like kind of discussion like this, but we just kind of hang out for intrigue,
yeah,
you
no,
know?
I think that'd be a good idea. Like when we were talking about lease agreement, you talked about like band image and stuff. I was ready to kind of go on like a whole tangent about that and like
Well,
kind of just go
dude,
off topic.
go on tangents. That's the interesting part. Like the thing
Right.
is,
So yeah, I think
what'd you say?
I think yeah, that'd be a good idea where we kind of, after talking about the artist for a little bit, we can kind of drone on about like what we did with Reilly, right? After we talked about the music, we started talking about the other Rileys out there. I think that was like a good progression, right? After discussing the music, kind of going tangentially to the band and just kind of goofing off a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, goofing off is why people will listen. So,
Yeah.
I mean, covering the music is like important, but I think people also want like it to be fun.
Yeah. Also, I think that the more we do this, the more we'll get comfortable with each other, like talking and stuff. Because I noticed that when we were doing stuff, it's like one of us would say something, and then there'd be like a pause, and like another person would go on, right? So I think like once we keep on doing this, the flow will definitely like get better, you know?
Yeah, and also once we get used to flaming each other's music.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
by the
yeah,
way,
I don't know.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Alexander Borodin, but he's one of my favorites.
Dude,
Hey,
actually, that's what I was gonna pick for next week, bro.
No, you are not, dude. That's my pick.
Yes, I was. Dude, what the? I put it in the Google
well,
Doc first, though. You must have erased my
okay,
name, dude.
both of those picks of Alexander Borodin is amazing. Interestingly enough, his second string quartet, in my opinion, sounds better, even though it's easier to play, and he wrote it much quicker because some snobby bureaucrat wanted him to write it for some social event, so he pumped it out real quick. But I think it sounds pretty good.
Dude, Andy just read like a synopsis off Google of Alexander Borodin.
Oh, I'm not.
Well, anyways, so what do you guys think for next picks? Oh, so yeah,
Uh,
Andrew, since you kind of seem to be out of the loop a little bit, so on the Google
What do
Doc,
you
right?
mean?
Well,
Dude,
so on the Google.
I've never been more in the loop.
All right, no, let's be serious here for now a second. So in the Google Doc, right? There's like the three like lists, right, where it's like an artist between 250K to 50K, an artist between 50 to
Yeah.
10K, and then artists below 10K. So like I guess like Jack said, we were trying to think of like where each one of us picks an artist from the category. So what do you think, Jack? Since I did the 250K one, should I do the under 10K one?
yeah, so wait, okay. We did it's 250K and then 50K and then 10K. So
Well, so I guess we really just did two under 10Ks because Lease Agreement and Reilly both were under 10K.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
we're just kind of getting into it, but let's do I'm gonna
So
make a
go ahead.
list down here. I'm gonna make a list down here. Today is 5/23, 2020, or we'll do this episode 1. Who did 250K today?
Yeah, Jellyfish.
Okay, so Sebastian, um, and then episode. We'll just make like episode 1. Actually, we'll do this. We'll do here. You don't even fill that out because
Okay.
we're gonna cheat the system real quick.
Dude names. That's fair.
Wait, dude, I can do my camera?
What the crap?
Yeah, you can do your camera. I haven't been recording cameras. We can decide if we want to do that later, but I think Sebastian.
I'm
Yeah,
not interested.
Sebastian does,
Yeah.
Sebastian doesn't want to say his name, so I don't think he wants to do camera.
Yeah, it's
Sebastian
kind
doesn't want to say his name?
of. I was gonna do a fake name like Jeremy.
I mean,
Is that for like privacy or is that like
Kind
to
of.
be
Yeah.
fun? To be fun?
Sebastian,
Okay.
dude, there's like half a billion Sebastians out there.
I mean, I guess who cares though? It's all about the privacy.
I mean, unless I say like, Sebastian is gonna know it's you.
You should call me. That's right.
I'm still
Yeah.
recording, so he's pretty much done.
Oh well, if you're listening at this point, do not look up Sebastian.
Well,
I'm not.
unfortunately, Andrew, nobody's listening because it hasn't been
It's
posted
not
yet.
like he's going to the States.
Well, I'm not actually gonna post it with that information, so don't worry.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should. See if Sebastian gets any of
Anyways,
our fans going by to say hi.
yeah. So, I'll take the uh, I'll take the 10K, I guess maybe. Yeah, I'll do
Well,
the 10K for.
so it would be yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. This list I have going has you there, luckily.
All right. So, Andrew, get your 50K pick going between 50K and 10K listeners. Figure that out. That's your homework.
Have you guys heard of this Christian rock guy named Reilly?
Dang, son.
Dude.
Oh, okay. I don't.
Just you don't have to do it right now, but just figure it out, I guess.
Okay, dude. Okay, so I actually there's this artist named Austin George.
Yeah.
Um, he has. Actually,
586K.
no. But you guys don't understand. Songs are so good.
No, but
Yeah, but
that's not the point.
that's not the
Well,
point of
but
the
he's
show. That's not the point of the
he's
show.
dude, but he's also like, even though he has more listeners than the threshold demands, he's still not that well known. Like
I know.
nobody ever
Also,
has heard of him.
I think what we'll do is probably mark his name here. I'll put this. I'll do above. Hold on. Dude, why is this? This is like 11 point, right? Oh yeah. Okay.
No.
Hold on. Don't fret yet. Above the threshold. Okay, so
No.
above 250K. Okay, put them under this list. Um, notes. So put them under this list, and then I think Sebastian and I talked about doing like specialty episodes. So we could probably just do like a episode that's like people we like above 500 or 250K. But I think for the normal ones, let's keep it to what we got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
So yeah, you don't have to like figure it out right now, but yeah, just between 50 and 10K, Jack.
I like how
You're doing
Sebastian was straight up fretting, dude. So it's
well,
like,
because it's like
no.
if you would give Andrew an inch, he'd probably take on a mile. Then next week it'd be like, yeah. Anyways, guys, I don't know if you've heard of this band. They're called Hillsong Worship, but I kind of would like to talk about them.
Song worship.
Dude, Hillsong Worship. Yes.
Andrew would be like, hey, I don't know if you guys have heard of these little indie rock band called Swishfoot, but can we do them? I know they're a little bit above 250K.
Oh,
Oh my
wait. There's this other one there's this one really esoteric band I listened to way back. I think they're called the Lumineers. Oh wait, hold up. I think the Lumineers might have done some really famous rock song. How's it go again? Like
When the light.
dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. I don't know.
I don't know, guys. If you guys have heard of this guy, he was on a track with Post Malone once. I think Post Malone kind of handed him his career on a silver platter, but it's like Ozzy Osbourne or something. I don't know. He's all right.
Oh,
Kendrick Lamar.
I don't know if you guys have heard this guy that's on the download called Kendrick Lamar.
dude.
Andy, I swear if you tell me that Ozzy Osbourne is like devil worship, I swear. I swear.
I
No.
mean,
I would
I
never say
mean,
that. I think he's more just like demonic, not devil.
Oh my gosh.
Dude,
let's be
like
honest with ourselves now.
I heard that Ozzy Osbourne like heroin once. Like that dude like I just can't get behind that.
Andy, look, even though you're joking, I'm almost sure of it. It's like, it's still so hard.
What?
He took heroin once. He's pretty
Yeah,
much
dude, that's pretty hard. Well, then
he's pretty
again,
much a demon.
okay, actually, it makes sense. He's hard heavy metal band doing hard drugs.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. I mean, honestly.